hosted by Zephyr, presented by Realm of the Mist Entertainment.
Hello, citizens of the realm. Welcome back once again to Press A Gaming, the show that's continually in beta. I'm your host, Zephyr, and today I am joined by Wild High 77.
Are you the Keymaster?
And Anvil.
The all-consuming flame of gluttony.
Mr. AKA himself.
What's up, guys? It's Anthony Anthem, a.k.a. Black Fabio, a.k.a. The Midnight Marauder, a.k.a. Mr. A.K.A. What's going on?
And a returning guest all the way back from our first ever episode. How you doing, UA?
Hey, you can't keep a good UA down. It's good to be back.
And also joining us today, we have Dusty.
Hello? I don't
And Salem.
It's Salem from Oregon, not Massachusetts. Don't fuck it up, I'll kill you.
Not like the witches, Cat and Sabrina.
Okay, I know it's two completely different people, but I think one of them just pissed a hot UA.
Yeah.
Hey!
So
that's where we're going with this.
That is the most introductions I've ever had to do for an episode before. We have 7 people on this panel. Holy shit! I never thought I'd get here. But the reason we have.
You're not counting multiple personality disorders.
Well, if we're doing that, we're at the triple digits already.
Yeah.
Or how many people I can eat for.
You're welcome.
6 people, so I should count it for 4 at least.
Counting that, we've been doing this with like 1 million people from the get-go. Hello, it's me we're talking about here.
It is pretty crazy.
But the reason we have so many people on this panel, I think we are covering probably what I would consider the most popular video game type in existence. Eat your heart out, first-person shooters. You're not the most popular. Shut up.
Farming games?
Sim Ant?
Wait a minute, what about farming games?
Don't make me come over there and slap you, Anvil.
Farmville all day long.
Stop
All
that.
I heard was farming games. You know what, Anvil? Go home. You're drunk, bro.
He's always drunk.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about
Anvil, you're drunk. Go home.
Get the train back up.
No. We are talking RPGs, the good old-fashioned role-playing games.
Oh, boy.
whips and chains and cuffs. Oh my!
Do you mean that game where,
kind of role-playing, Chris?
Damn.
Do you mean that game where my ex-girlfriend and I used to dress up? She'd be a maid and I would be the butler having an affair in the dungeon area where the king and queen couldn't see us?
Also not that kind of role-playing game.
Shit.
God, hang on, can we visit this for a second? So what you're telling me is you had foursomes?
Hey.
I'm not judging, I'm
Due
just
to
curious.
contractual agreement, I'm not allowed to go any further.
He's got
Okay.
NDA.
You noticed that we were just having sexual innuendo reference talk, and he just pulled a gag order.
But
Hey,
BDSM.
what I do when it comes to BDSM, whether it's light or hardcore, is my business.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Just remember the safe word for Press A Gaming tonight is pineapple.
Oh,
I thought
God.
we were going.
It's official. We have a safe word. Oh, no.
Oh, fuck.
I thought we were going with didgeridoo. What did we change the safe word?
No, didgeridoo is when... Never mind. Family show.
All right, RPG.
RPGs. I think RPGs are definitely the most popular game genre in existence. They've been around since, God, before video games were even a thing.
Alright, so before Chris's time, got you.
Like, I'm pretty sure the first video game RPG was an MS-DOS based version of Dungeons and Dragons.
It was actually.
Where it and honestly, like a lot of crossover with dungeon crawlers, because like most RPGs got their start as dungeon crawlers.
Dork.
That is correct.
Pretty much
Zork.
with your basic.
Zork is only a dungeon crawler on a technicality, Anvil. Zork is fucking text-based.
Yeah, but I'm going to remind you after that Anvil lives on technicalities, so...
That is fair.
To be fair, that is the only reason why I'm alive.
Well, let's start the show like we normally do, since the topic is RPGs. Let's set the guidelines. Obviously, we already know that JRPG can be considered a separate genre of RPG, so it'll be a separate show, but what MMORPGs?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, snap.
Oh, God.
Does that include, like,
No, I
what's
think
the name of the game? League of Legends?
That's a MOBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not...
When you're thinking RPGs, we're thinking things like, and everyone's probably sick and fucking tired of hearing about this, but Elder Scrolls, like, you're thinking Skyrim, you're thinking... Diablo. You're even going back to series like the Shining series.
The Path of Exiles picked up a lot.
Fable.
Definitely Fable.
Missed.
Yes.
The newest one that just released. Newest one that just released, Borderlands 3. I mean, we can go into context with that one for a while.
And if you want to be really fucking technical, Ghost Recon Breakpoint is a third-person shooter, but it definitely follows a lot of RPG ideas. It's just really fucking dumb, and we're not going to talk about it.
Hell, Destiny.
Why did you mention
Destiny
it?
qualifies as an RPG.
Because we're going into the stem of just how far RPGs can go. We have these kinds of RPGs, and then we have these.
Some things need a Baltimore rule.
That was the story.
People need
RPGs are definitely the most versatile genre out there, because you've got RPGs for pretty much every time period, every possible scenario.
I mean, if you want to nitpick, the fucking Sims is an RPG.
There was a
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I would say The Sims is more of a simulation game, but
I mean, yes.
Their story there, though. I mean, their lives are better than ours.
And even their learning system is basically level up and perk system.
Yeah.
There was a frickin' Five Nights at Freddy's RPG.
Yeah, there was, actually.
You know what's really bad about that? Is the
Don't
fact that
ask.
it's based on Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
FNAF World was weird.
I think they didn't really have much of a choice but to just start being weird just because they were running out of ideas. Like, how do we get people to enjoy this? I don't know. Just fucking throw anything at them. Regardless, let's get back on topic.
Five Nights at Freddy's, a Telltale's game.
Well, never mind.
Please no. Love of God, please no.
So basically, we're so far into the episode and we still haven't defined like fully what an RPG is. RPGs, in terms of video games at least, are generally games that have a robust leveling system, some form of party-based combat, whether it be real-time action combat with party members or turn-based.
Well, again, you have to clarify that because you're talking party combat. You go again to games like the Elder Scrolls. It's single player.
Yeah, but you can have
Not always. We had dungeons.
Well, yeah.
You can have companions.
Yeah,
right.
You can have, like in games like Skyrim, yes, there was some sort of thing where you could have up to like 15 companions. It was dumb.
And Elder Scrolls, I play with friends.
Yeah. Well,
Elder Scrolls Online, yeah.
It's still an RPG.
Well, yeah, it's an MMORPG.
At that point, yeah.
Having a party in an RPG is by no means a requirement, but usually the combat system is based around having party members and not just yourself fighting. While solo...
Most of the time, RPGs follow the whole combat triangle system where you have magic beats melee, beats rogue, and rogue beats magic. And so you're going to obviously base most of your games on a party style where you can then customize how you make up your party based on how you want to fight against your enemy.
And the other
Right,
thing that
like-
is the story element. The stories are always more involved in those games than anything else. You can lose yourself more.
Exactly.
Which is the
Role-playing game, the idea where you are supposed to immerse yourself into the character, which is why actually most of the protagonists in RPGs, especially early RPGs, were mostly silent protagonists because they wanted you to feel more immersed in that you were the character who was kind of leading this team or whatever it is that you were doing in the RPG.
Yep. A trope that continually pops up in role-playing games over and over again is, again, you mentioned the triangle system, but I'm going to go more in depth of like the extremely complex rock, paper, scissors gameplay style with different elements.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, Pokemon qualifies as an RPG. In fact, that's its primary genre is RPG. It's your player character's not the one doing the fighting.
Pretty much.
Well, I would.
It's RPG.
I would classify the Pokemon not like Stadium or fucking Pikachu's Pictures or anything like that, but the actual Pokemon games. I would classify them as RPGs for one simple reason.
Absolutely.
One of the most basic of RPG game elements, even in JRPGs,
Level
the
up.
grind.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
The grind is always
The grind.
The grind.
I thought that was going to come up much later in this episode.
Oh,
Man,
absolutely.
The grind.
You know what game didn't have grind that I really liked, but I also sort of missed grind? Divinity 2. There was only X number of monsters. They never reappeared. There was only X number of monsters, and once you killed all the monsters, there was no more to kill. And
So you didn't have fun at all?
nice that I didn't have to constantly grind because it was leveled out appropriately, but at the same time, I kind of missed it. I kind of missed the being able to just go out and have combat.
Well, see, I think that's kind of a takeaway though, because like I'm thinking, the first thing I'm thinking of is like Knights of the Old Republic 1, where you level capped at 20, everything was pretty much laid out to once you got to the point of the game, this is the level you're going to be. And I almost think that's a detriment to games. I prefer the grind. I'd rather walk into the final boss fight as maxed out as possible because I chose to do that.
I'm actually a big fan.
Kingdom Hearts.
Or
Oi.
That we're not.
and sometimes I like to walk into a boss battle knowing that I am vastly underleveled and see how far I can make it before he slaughters me.
Cop, Dark Souls, cop.
Now, see, my thing with that is I don't mind the grind when I'm playing early games, but eventually the big thing with RPGs is that you become so immersed in the story that for players like myself, you don't care about being max level when you face that final boss. You just want to see what the story, how it finishes.
And how they
Yeah.
murder you for not being max
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, well, that's
I will admit, I played just to get to cutscenes.
yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
I will admit, in my first playthrough of Dark Souls, I was that idiot that thought you were supposed to take the Abyssal Demon on with just the broken sword. I got my shit rocked so many times.
And actually, I mean,
Honestly,
I'll
that first boss battle of Dark Souls 1 was a brilliant deconstruction of RPGs. Because, like, how many RPGs put you up against the first boss that you're not supposed to win? That you're supposed to just chicken out and run?
It's true.
Oh, jeez. I if you give me enough time, I can think of one if you give me enough time, but we don't
I feel
have
like
that.
we have less than
yeah,
an hour left. Sorry. You
anyways.
can't think that hard.
Yeah. Fucking steam's starting to come out of my ears.
Well, that is another trope of RPGs, and again, even in JRPGs, is the false boss battle, which is actually a storyline where you're supposed to lose, but you don't know it.
But,
Right.
But usually when that pops up in the RPG of like this is a boss battle that you're supposed to lose, the
Usually
game
about halfway through.
the game pulls no punches in letting you know that this is a boss battle you're supposed to lose, because like you'll be attacking the enemy and it's like no damage, or miss, miss, and eventually you get the message of, okay, I'm not supposed to win this.
Or you'll do a bunch of damage, but every time he hits you, he does like all of your health. And that's when you're just like,
Those ones.
Oh god.
It's all been there.
Oh my god. My least favorite gaming feeling is when something smacks me once and my health bar goes instantly into the red. And it's just like,
The worst feeling in the world is like, this boss is gonna one-hit me. Let me get really good at the strategy of beating this boss so it doesn't one-hit me. And then you get like out of like a baby's dick worth of fucking health on that boss level. And he just swipes you one good time. And you're done.
Did you just say baby stick?
I absolutely just said
did you mean Sephiroth? I'm sorry. I know. I desperately want to do JRPGs as its own episode, but like, they have all of the classic RPG tropes.
They do. It's just Japanese.
Well,
I have nothing to say right now.
here's the thing. In my personal opinion, and you guys may disagree with me on this, that's fine. For me, I circle around JRPGs far harder than I do regular RPGs. And it is, for me, it's because the story is told so much better. You get invested in the characters that much quicker and easier. And the satisfaction of facing that final boss and kicking their ass it makes the game so much better than a lot of the stuff that you see in mainstream media for RPGs in America.
My argument against you on the flip side, a lot of American Western RPGs is that you again, and I mentioned this earlier, is that they have you immerse yourself as that main character. In JRPGs, kind of like Kingdom Hearts, Sora is his own personal thing, where he's got his own backstory, he's got his own everything, and so Sora's a different character. You don't feel that you are him. Whereas in games like even
Fallout.
some of the dumb RPGs out there like Destiny, where you feel like you're that character.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I have
the main difference between straight RPGs and JRPGs
It's the haircuts.
Yes.
Most JRPGs are story-driven, linear role-playing games, and most of your American style RPGs are that self-insert character. You are playing as yourself in this fantasy world, and it's a lot less of a linear storyline. Like, they'll definitely give you like quests of like, go here, complete this for the main story, but all of the fucking side quests.
I think it's going to become more addictive too than any other style of game because there's so much to do and you're so invested in what's going to happen next.
Side quest.
I'll admit I get lost on side quests. You put me on. Oh, we're not allowed to talk about MMOs today.
No, we're allowed to talk about MMOs. We're not allowed to talk about Japanese.
I'm a World of Warcraft player, so I like that because I can bring my friends with me and we can just grind and farm and do what we need to do. But side quest city.
Yeah. I will admit, Fallout 3, I played over 2,000 hours before I ever finished the story mode.
I have 17 complete playthroughs of Dragon Age Origins.
I will admit, I have completed just about every JRPG I've ever played. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've completed a Western RPG.
Now, let me
lost in side quests, man. It takes a lot of hours.
let me throw an idea out your way, and I want to poll this to the panel here. Does this count as an RPG? Undertale.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
I abstained because I know the game.
I've never played it. I have had no interest in playing it, but a couple of my favorite streamers have done streams of it in the last couple of months, and I've watched them do playthroughs of it, and it is absolutely fantastic to watch. Maybe not to play for me, but I know Zephyr can disagree with me on that.
The only thing I will warn people about if they've never played Undertale before is do not play it like you would play a typical RPG. If it's your first run through, don't fucking play it like you would play a typical RPG. Combat is not your friend.
No, you want to kill everything. You want to make sure you kill absolutely everything you can.
Don't listen to him. You will nuke
Either
your
of
save
them.
file.
Which you want.
Well, actually, in the spirit of UA here, I have a 2 games that have been classified as RPGs, even though they're more platformers. So I want to get everybody's opinion on them.
Okay.
Castlevania 2: Simon's Quest
Yes.
Yes.
and Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night is definitely an RPG,
Yes.
as well as its
Yes.
successor of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is
Yes.
also heavy RPG, heavy grind game. I'll definitely say that anything where you have statistics, you have a health bar, a mana bar, you have even combos that they do in that game. The only thing that games like Symphony of the Night and Ritual of the Night are missing are obviously there's no party. There's no clear distinction between melee, rogue, and magic.
But the story is there.
But there's story, yes.
Big time.
But I tend to define an RPG as a game that it tries to have some sort of basic setup of attributes of your strength, knowledge, dexterity, blah blah blah, health points, magic points, and then you progress and level up as you go along. You have definitely a clear story as you play along, and then there's the grind. There's all sorts of other things.
And the cutscenes.
And the cutscenes.
So now I've got a contribution to the panel.
Sure.
If we're defining an RPG as a game that has robust story elements, a leveling system, some form of, combat, be it action-based or turn-based, GTA 5 Online, RPG?
Technically, yeah.
Technically,
I would, yeah.
I would label that as an MMORPG, but yes,
Yeah.
all the same.
RPG is literally within MMORPG.
Yeah, I know.
I've
So,
done enough Grand Theft Auto 5 where you get to the point where when you're driving a car, you try to stop at all the red stops and whatnot, just because
I've done that
I'm gonna
too.
roleplay this, but I'm definitely gonna stick up the fucking the clerk here at this little convenience store and steal all his money. I actually really liked Grand Theft Auto Online.
So did I.
How about Dishonored?
I'm not.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I would definitely consider that an RPG. Absolutely.
Yeah, same with Bioshock.
Sonic's
Any of the
dope.
Bioshock
I
games.
didn't know what I was walking into when I played it.
Because they're kind of RPG-esque.
No, the Bioshocks are. I used to watch them.
Yeah.
Those.
If you consider the plasmids as a leveling system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys a quick question, and it is a possible two-parter. Would you consider Legend of Zelda to be an RPG?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
hands down.
Here I'd stick.
Yeah, I knew he would.
I don't know. It's
I
a platform
love-
slash RPG.
I love Zelda. I would say the early on Zeldas were definitely platformers. I think it sort of evolved into more of an adventure game than an RPG
I'd have
until Breath of the Wild. I would definitely 100% say Breath of the Wild was an RPG.
I would have to disagree with you, Anvil, that early Zelda games were platformers. I would say that they were top-down RPGs.
And did you ever play the second Zelda? That one was definitely platformer.
Oh,
The first one, yeah, I guess the first one would really be a
Yeah.
top-down, not a platform.
Zelda 2 was definitely a platform.
We're also talking about a game that's got a lot of different incarnations, where one type of Zelda game is a platformer, one type of Zelda actually.
Yeah.
You know what? But the thing is almost every aspect of Zelda, except for maybe Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, which, by the way, total RPG. The other one,
Zelda CD.
the other Zelda games, whether it's Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, fucking Twilight Princess, they were always dungeon crawlers with open world.
Yeah.
Always.
That's what I'd say.
That's their classification of RPG.
Really? All right. I can dig that then.
It's a jam.
I've-
It's a
I
jam.
always thought
I realize that it's an RPG.
Oh.
Not really. Zelda doesn't really have a lot of the elements that JRPGs do.
Yeah, but the fact that it was made in Japan before it was brought over to America.
There you go, JRPG.
Exactly.
But being made in Japan doesn't necessarily make something a JRPG. But while the name JRPG does come from Japanese role-playing game, it's more complicated than just being a Japanese role-playing game.
But that's for the other time we're going to talk.
No, I know.
Exactly. We're going to go more in depth for that show.
Can I just ask my follow-up?
Okay, then what about Earthbound?
Yeah, Earthbound definitely is an RPG.
100%.
UA, follow-up question.
Yeah, what's your follow-up?
Has anyone in any RPG, and I'm not even talking just Breath of the Wild, but it does include Breath of the Wild, did anybody go from the beginning of the game to where you're finally able to go to the open world and say, fuck it to the rest of it and go straight to the final boss?
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
If you give me the option of reaching the final boss in like the first part of the game, I am going to take it and take that dude on because I just want to see if I can beat him.
Skyrim's a perfect example.
Because you said time was of the essence, so I immediately went to the castle. I was like, right.
What was that,
I
Anthony?
immediately went after Nemesis when I played Resident Evil 3.
3 heart challenge.
Resident Evil 3?
You like rip my head off and use it as a soccer ball.
There's a game that I don't think it really classifies as an RPG. Someone correct me, but XCOM, where I make a part, I level up their gear and whatnot, but XCOM, the original XCOM, once you get to the final confrontation, you can just completely fucking ignore it and just keep grinding the game, and that's something that I did for months in that game. I just completely fucking ignored the final thing, and I just grinded.
Oh my god, Cap!
Well, I can make the same argument for another class game called Masters of Orion.
Right.
Where you know, for people that aren't familiar with it, the Masters of Orion is you take on the role of a particular race, and you start managing planetary systems and obviously resources and building technologies and research and going to war with other races and diplomacy. Like it's a real-time strategy, but it's got RPG elements, which just I would say for XCOM is that I think it's a real-time strategy. However, it's RPG influence.
Well, and I mean, wouldn't you have to say, though, that a lot of RPGs also infuse the idea of real-time strategy? Because, I mean, granted, JRPGs are more turn-based, but regular RPGs are all action sequence.
I would say something like Age of Empires, which is a real-time strategy game. I wouldn't put it in an RPG.
Not at all.
Okay.
I can't really think of any good examples. No. Well, there is, but I can't think of the campaign. Play the campaign.
Well,
I can't think of any games that are real-time strategy and RPG at the same time. I don't know. Like you're getting into MMO territory.
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Games like RuneScape that are real-time strategy games because you got stuff like farming and other non-combat skills that are real-time things happen, but then there's so
you can incorporate it one way, but you can't incorporate it the other.
RuneScape is squarely in RPG territory.
Yeah.
I want to go back to just because it's made in Japan doesn't mean it's a Japanese role-playing game. I think I was making this point off air a long time ago, but Wild Arms.
Yeah.
I'm
Not familiar with that.
Nah.
We're familiar with it.
There's a series I grew up on. It's called the Shining series. So you got Shining in the Darkness, Shining Force 1, 2, 3, Shining Tears, all sorts of fucking Shining series. I don't know if I want to classify that as JRPG or just Western RPG. I don't know.
I've never even heard of that one, so I can't say.
I mean, one thing I want to touch on with RPGs in general, and I'll go back to the whole combat trial thing, is that back in the I'm talking the 1990s. I mean, you can even go back into the 80s when RPGs were first starting to come
Oregon
around.
Trail?
Right.
I loved that game,
Right.
and I died all the time.
And RPGs are definitely trying to do their best to hold the general idea that Dungeons and Dragons Generation 1 or the first edition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really tried to put in where they tried to put in, the whole attributes and where you can do as much as you possibly can
Like Golden
in a
Axe and those ones.
real life setting. And the thing that a lot of RPG games and and I'm also gonna pull things like LARPs in general and a lot of stuff where a lot of things seem to start getting really unbalanced, especially when it comes to magic. Magic starts to become something that seems just way too overpowered, where a game can eventually, or any sort of fantasy world can go, oh, this is happening because magic.
Well,
And-
yeah, that's like World of Warcraft. Even the warriors have magic. Everything's magic.
But like the first initial RPG games out there, especially RPG games that actually have like graphics to them, like Sword of Vermilion, where you're playing a character that is definitely a warrior. You have no fucking choice. You are a warrior. You have your sword. You have your armor. Here you go. Have at it. They tried to make that different by giving your initial character magic. Most of the time, it's lightning magic. And then, but the thing is that they really lacked a rogue aspect to it. There are some games that had rogues in it, but what they did was they made rogues pretty much just a little bit more damage, a little more squishy.
Yeah.
And that, I don't think that defines a rogue very much. Games like, once you start getting into the Elder Scrolls, got a little bit more complicated with how they did this and how they did stuff. And I actually like how Skyrim, and I hate talking about Skyrim, but I like how Skyrim brought magic back to something that it's what it's supposed to be. It's powerful, but it's fucking expensive. And when you're first starting to try to play a magic playing game or a mage character in Skyrim, like, I'll go, yeah, let's fireball everything, and then, oh crap, I'm out of mana, let me die. So and
I like
that's
the realism of that. Actually.
that's what I like about a game, is where you can balance mages, because when I play D&D, I fucking hate magic. I really do.
The law of conservation of mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got an example of an RPG that just because it's made in Japan doesn't necessarily mean it's a JRPG. The Monster Hunter series.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean to get into
Oh,
that.
that is so JRPG.
No, it is not. No, it is not.
Oh, it is so JRPG.
Monster Hunter is like the closest to straight Western RPG that Japanese are.
So I've never really played the Monster Hunter series until recently. I just played the newest one.
Monster Hunter
And it was
World.
very much MMO without actually being online.
It's online. You just have to go places for the online functionality. The Gathering Hub.
All right.
What about Witcher?
I was waiting to get on that one.
Time to fucking start a 2-hour debate on The Witcher.
Oh.
Yeah, for no debate, I
Would you
just
like
simply
to
asked.
spearhead this?
I gotta mention that I found a video the other day that somebody modded The Witcher 3 to have Geralt riding around on a skateboard to Goldfinger's Superman.
Are we gonna Tony?
I gotta go.
RPG.
It's a JRPG.
It was a Japanese exclusive before it became over here to the West. In fact, originally Monster Hunter World wasn't even going to come over here to the West. It is a JRPG. It is known as a JRPG. It's also an online JRPG now.
Ha!
Because Monster Hunter has also a PC game, which is also another JRPG game.
Oh.
Man, I'm waiting for you to dab.
All right, fine. We'll concede. Monster Hunter is a JRPG that doesn't feel like a JRPG.
Okay, you know what?
Okay. Question. What about Dragon Quest? What would that count under?
I would put that under JRPG.
Yeah, it's funny. I would put Dragon Quest under JRPG, but I would put Dragon Warrior Western RPG.
I'm thinking any game
Alright.
where the main character can swing around a sword bigger than his fucking ego is a JRPG.
You're right. Actually, no, because WoW is not. WoW is not. We have swords and armor.
I see you all.
I'm gonna tell you now, when we start talking about WoW, we'll let you talk.
Oh.
Also, Miss Anthony, did we just have a new challenger appear situation from your end?
Maybe start playing some like Street Fighter or some shit.
Okay, I'll go over. Sounds good.
Oh, I've got one. I've got
My
one for
brother.
everybody. I've got one for
Come to my
everybody.
brother Lauren.
What do you
Check out
got?
Donut and Wolf. the
Tony
Twitch channel.
Hawk's Underground.
That's I
Oh
think
yeah,
I stated that.
that was more of a skating game though.
I don't remember hearing
Yeah,
that.
but I'm not talking about like the Pro Skater 8 or anything like that. The Undergrounds were straight RPGs.
Absolutely. They had a
Yeah,
stat system and everything.
Yeah, I can see that.
They had
They
quests.
had stats, they had
You
level
gotta
up,
fuck it. I played both of them, and I
They
beat
did
them.
have that system.
That's not gonna work.
and
Oh my
and
God.
actually had a story to it. It wasn't good. It was a story.
Yeah, I can see.
I played a game called BMX XXX, which is why
Oh,
admit that?
now we're
Why would you
talking.
admit that?
it's the reason why my music taste as a kid sucked so fucking
Yes.
hard.
Yep, I'm guilty of playing that game.
Oh yeah.
I played that game.
I avoided.
I missed it. What
Want to
game?
consider it an RPG?
BMX
now?
XXX.
Oh.
There.
Oh,
Oh man, I'm.
It was-
BMX XXX. What is that? A porn game?
No,
No, they try to be very adult with their BMX game,
Yeah.
but it's really cringy. Like hot salty nut sex. I got my hot salty nut sex here. Yeah, I don't know. It's,
So it's trying to be GTA 5
yeah, pretty much. It's well, I mean,
Well-
this game came out in
Or-
what,
or
2000?
Saint
Early
Yeah.
2000s.
Saints Row the Third.
Bad.
They tried to be
Yeah,
tried
basically
to
it was
be
like Saints
like-
Row before Saints Row.
Saints Row. Yeah, Saints Row. Throw Saints Row together with like Tony Hawk and just make it onto bikes. You know what I
I
mean?
can't believe you like that. We may have to break
Saint-
up. I don't know.
Okay, bye.
Oh.
My
And that
my
is the first
favorite
time I see
weapon.
somebody break up on the podcast.
My favorite weapon in any
Don't
game
worry, they'll be
ever
having
is
monkey
from
sex
Saints Row the
later.
Third.
Jesus Christ.
Ew, they're gonna do stuff.
No, if we're talking weapons of any kind, it doesn't matter what genre of game. If we're talking about greatest video game weapon of all time, it is the fucking chicken butt in South Park. You're running around spreading a chicken's legs to fire eggs at people. Can't do that.
he's not wrong.
Wait, I'm
Okay.
wrong. Wait, I'm wrong. The farting, the burping, and the booger flicking from fucking Booger Man on Sega Genesis.
Ew, that game was so gross. Ew.
Oh,
There we go.
We're back.
Back to RPGs.
Oh wait. What about Conquer?
Conker's not an RPG, but it is one of the greatest video games ever made.
Yeah, Conker's a platformer. Especially Bad Fur Day.
I love
Conker's
that.
Bad Fur Day was a straight parody of a parody of a parody of a parody based on Mario 64.
Yo,
Yes, it was.
I am the
Probably
great
Ryan
and
Parody was fun.
mighty Pooh. I'm going to
Throw my shit at you.
you.
You guys remember when they tried to make a Mario RPG?
You mean
They made several of them. They were actually quite.
Paper Mario?
I liked them.
Paper Mario was great.
That was my ear, you dog.
Yeah, but
ah.
but the story of the Seven Stars or whatever it was, actual Mario RPG was not a bad game. I mean,
Yeah, I liked it.
the problem is I would argue that it is a JRPG. I mean, it was created by Square Enix.
Yeah,
Well,
that's generally a pretty good indicator.
I guess I'm just more biased.
So, does Telltale Games count?
No.
Not really.
I'm gonna put that as a hard no for the simple fact that it is, at least in terms of what I've seen, I've never played, so granted I might be off here, but what I've seen from Telltale Games is that it would read more as a decision-based type gaming, and yes, it has RPG elements to it, but it doesn't feel like an RPG.
Telltale games are glorified visual novels.
Yeah.
I mean, they are visual novels, but what you think about it, though, the aspects, sometimes you collect the right items. That's what makes it into an RPG, because you don't collect certain items, that's when it gets harder for you, especially the, what was it,
Visual?
Wolf in the City or something like that?
visual novels have had that gameplay mechanic for years. The Zero Escape series is a visual novel series that involves puzzles and finding your way out of various rooms. And if you don't find all the items, you won't be able to get yourself out of the room. So,
There we go.
But
You were one of
technically,
those-
you're playing a role. I mean, you can go. It's a role play puzzle game then.
Anthony, you strike me as a person that used to peek at the back of the book of the Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Oh, it's crazy. I've actually never
Page-
played one of those books.
Page 42? No, he dies in there. I'll go to page 17.
I've got I had a friend who had one of those, but I never used it.
You're interrupted. Say what
Hey, my character is clairvoyant, so that's why he gets to pick and choose what path in the Choose Your Own Adventure goes through.
Well, you're talking about all these games that either have, like, 8-bit graphics to, today's graphics, but RPGs could be and should still be in certain areas completely tech-based, like MUDs.
Oh my.
Or
So
Zork.
many tech-based
How
RPGs.
old are you?
Hey,
Hey,
Old enough, my
the
friend.
first RPG I ever did was on a bulletin
I'm
board.
here,
It's
but
just
Jesus is
using
a sandal.
So,
What was
CBS
the-
is worth.
what was the first RPG on the bulletin board?
I'm trying to remember what the name of it was, because you're talking. I was what? It's
Don't
Five.
date yourself.
don't date myself. Okay, I'm not that old, really. Never mind. Move on.
Anyone watch
The insults to a woman on her age, because that's a no-no. But to Chris, every time I get a chance, he remembers when Jesus had a Nike.
Look, it ain't my fault that my social security number.
Love you, Chris.
My question is: are you starting to get the AARP things? I know I am.
Oh.
Man, me too. And I just turned 30. That's it.
Yeah, we
I
heard
mean,
we heard the story of how you had a midlife crisis at your 30th birthday.
So here's
We all know that the original RPG was invented by our Lord and Savior Gary Gygax.
Yes.
Minutes?
Yes.
which actually kind of begs the question: do you want to consider just straight dungeon crawl games its own thing, or do you want to stem it into RPGs? Let's like take into consideration games like Fatal Labyrinth, where it was nothing but a fucking dungeon crawl.
I would say if it was just nothing but a straight dungeon crawl, it's not really a role-playing game by virtue of you're not really playing a role.
But, but at the same time, it kind of alienates ones that, are dungeon crawls but have RPG elements. I'm looking at Boulder, Diablo,
Mm-hmm. Awesome dungeon
What about Marvel superheroes?
MMORPG. No, I'm sorry. Get a DC Online.
I was about to say, I'm thinking DC Online for that one, but
No,
Are
I
you
was
talking-
thinking
are
of
you
the
talking
one
about
where you had like 4 characters you could choose from in the universe. Marvel Universe, that's what I'm trying to figure. I couldn't figure out the name.
Ultimate
The one
Alliance.
touch of the plate. I played the PS2. Yeah, Ultimate Alliance. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't put that as RPG because
I don't know because
well, hear me out.
Actually, as I recall, Marvel Ultimate Alliance is actually classified as an RPG.
Mhm.
It's a character-based RPG, but you also still have leveling for said characters as well, because you can level them and get better powers
And they are
by
doing.
having them in their party.
Well, we're throwing a lot of RPGs out and a lot of names out there, and we've spent 43 minutes trying to classify an RPG. Let's
Have we succeeded?
It beats the fuck out of talking about fucking battle royales. So let's continue, guys.
Oh, wait a minute, guys. We're going to talk about Fortnite.
No. I
Go home, Anthony.
was going to
We
go with
know-
that, but I was going to suggest to go off kilter how we normally do.
The only thing I will say about Fortnite is it ended in a black hole, and that is the only thing I'm ever going to believe about it from now on.
Just like my sex life.
That's it. It's
Beautiful.
done. Fortnite's over.
I was hoping that was actually going to be the end, but no, they had to
I
bring
think
it.
it's so toxic.
But my idea is like normally we just turn around and start listing out favorite RPGs or whatever else, and everybody has a discussion on that. For a change of pace, this is like the most common, or not common, but loved game genre of all time. What RPG, not JRPG, but RPG, under the rules that we set, did you lose the most of your life to?
Fallout 3.
Hand down.
Hands down.
Here, let's do this one at a time. Let's not try to talk over each other. Zephyr, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I think I'll pass it to Anvil because he had his answer already.
Yeah, Fallout 3, hands down. I logged over 6,000 hours in that game in just one playthrough.
Be good.
All right. Who's next?
AKA, why didn't you go?
Let's see. Game I died the most.
Not died the most.
Not died the
Like,
most, but you put
How
the
much
most
time you sunk into it?
Oh, how much time did I got sucked into it? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, come back to me quick. I want to think about that for a second.
I'll go.
Okay.
World of Warcraft, the last 4 years of my life.
That's it.
Congratulations.
That is a soul sucker.
Salem.
Dragon Age, easily. I already mentioned I played 17 complete playthroughs of Dragon Age, and I still want more.
Wow.
Dragon
Okay.
Age 2 can suck my... Okay.
Okay. Wow. I can't believe I didn't just immediately think of this. Fucking Pokemon, man.
100%. Oh, yeah.
I have sunk so much time into the Pokemon series. It's not even funny. I have owned every single game, with the exception of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
I sucked into Pokemon Go and can't stop.
Yeah.
And I play Pokemon Go. I've already have a pre-order in for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like that this game is going to be stealing more hours of my life soon.
I'm sorry. I want to take mine back. Because if we're classified Zelda as RPG, then definitely Zelda.
Yeah, yeah, you sunk so many hours.
I've seen some of your save files, Anvil. They break.
We're talking quadruple.
I can play A Link to the Past literally in my sleep. I have fallen asleep in one temple and woke up 3 temples later before, so
I'm kind of tossed up on mine.
Okay, what do you got?
No, wait, I don't have to up the other one's a JRPG. I'll save that for that show. I would have to say Fallout 76.
Really?
I'm still sinking time into this game.
Okay.
All right.
If they did if they didn't update fucking games like Destiny and like things that are technical RPGs, like I've sunk a lot of time into those games that are trying really hard to be RPGs, but they're really not. I've sunk a lot of time into those, but I chose Dragon Age just because I definitely have put a lot of fucking time in it. And then even Inquisition, which was very fucking well done. There's just so much to do. I don't know. I have that kind of thing where like you have so much to do, you get overwhelmed, and you're like, well, I'm gonna go watch Netflix.
But we have date night.
Oh, date night.
Well, see, I was tossed up between Fallout 76, which I know I'm sinking a lot of time and effort into, and Fable 3, which I spent years.
I wouldn't consider
Fable 3.
Fable
I wouldn't
2,
consider
man.
that a JRPG.
Fable 3, really? And a JRPG?
I would not consider that a JRPG.
No. The
The
JRPG game I was gonna was Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll save my JRPG for that episode if I'm on it. But for me, RPG, and it's a tough one for me, but I think I would have to say Skyrim. I've done double digits on the playthroughs. I've done every branch that you can on it.
I'm an orc sneak archer.
Isn't a stealth archer.
and yet I always seem to end up as a mage who kills everyone in the Black Hand and ends up with that bow and arrow from the vampire storyline and just nuke everything on the planet.
So you're talking about Black Hand, which is the Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I got personal issues with that outside of the game, but that's not for the podcast.
Dark Brotherhood is my shit. Let's not talk about Skyrim.
The Elder Scrolls Online accidentally got bit and couldn't.
I'm sorry. That's one of the things that annoys me about Skyrim is like you could go out there and become everything you possibly can in that game, and you will still walk up to assholes that'll look at you like, "Who the hell do you think you are?" And I'm sitting here going, "Oh, just the headmaster of the College of Winterhold, the leader of the Companions, the Thane of X and Y cities, of all these cities."
You're thinking the Bow of Ariel, by the way.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
Hey, I just.
Oh,
hey,
and did I mention I'm the fucking Dragonborn?
Oh yeah, I gotta have that.
Yeah, that.
I
don't want me to get angry, I'll fucking shout at you. Fusroda!
I just want to say I used to be an adventurer like you until I took an arrow in the knee.
Yeah. the meme that keeps on living.
No, so the thing I loved about that game is it gave you the ability to do what I want to do in every single one of those games. It gave you the ability to literally punch everything until you could punch hard enough that you could punch anything dead.
I forgot you did that playthrough.
The Khajiit playthrough.
I did that in multiple playthroughs. I got to the point where I could punch the dragons to death.
That is his go-to. Like if you get the heavy armor Iron Hands perk, you do extra damage in your armor rating. You can legendary piece of armor gauntlets that are like 1,000 armor rating and just fucking punch anything to dead. I have a Skyrim playthrough that I call the One Punch Man playthrough because I literally walk up to anything. I punched Alduin to death with one hit.
Oh man, but that's welcome to the RPG conversation where Skyrim just happens.
Yeah.
Skyrim just happens.
Well,
at least until the Elder Scrolls 6 drops.
well, let's
Elder
Scrolls 6 is coming.
Really?
I was gonna ask for that actually.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls 6 is coming, just like my fucking girlfriend. Of course she is.
I'm gonna hide now. I like playing Elder Scrolls. Sue me.
Wait a minute. Did you just compare? Did you just compare Bethesda releasing Elder Scrolls 6 to your girlfriend coming?
I don't have a girlfriend anyway. So
As in.
I play
Jake?
RPGs.
Earlier, remember we were there.
No, you don't have one girlfriend. You have lots of girlfriends.
I have 5 fingers. Yes.
Hey. Harem games is an entirely genre. genre.
Yes, that is true. But Zephyr, hold on. Zephyr, you have to admit, especially in Elder Scrolls Skyrim, how many people could you take as a partner potentially?
Several, but once you marry somebody in Skyrim, you have to either kill the person you're married to, or I don't know if there's a divorce function. I've never tried.
There's a mod.
I prefer Fable.
I want to bring up Fable again real quick. We brushed on Fable. I want to say my favorite
wife in every town.
I want to say my favorite stat in any RPG ever is how many STDs you have in Fable.
Yeah. When it gets to like 43 and you're like, how is there even that many STDs in this world?
I was going back to Fable itself because it's like that was my favorite divorce rate. Just get into a room where the guards can't see you and kill them. And you inherit all her shit anyway.
I thought they were joking when they had gaming webcomics having comics about Fable talking about your dog digging up condoms and nothing but condoms for you. And it's like, I thought they were joking until I actually sat down and played Fable 2 and 3. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is this a thing?
Why is it not a
Yeah.
thing?
All right, well, I got the closer question then. I think
I didn't get to say my time, sirs.
Oh, yes.
Good.
Say your time.
Great.
Say your time. Say peace.
The games I have spent the most hours on is between Dauntless and Legend of Legaia. That's all.
I can dig both of those.
You get a golf clap.
I really hope the mic and the OBS picked that up.
But all right,
I have nothing to say, y'all.
the final question and to end on this episode here. If I Zephyr, I know it's your show.
Absolutely.
Role play and leather.
Oh,
Absolutely.
it's role playing. In your opinion, greatest RPG of all time?
Oh. Shit. And I'm actually gonna allow us to name JRPGs because they actually do deserve to be considered for the title of greatest RPG of all time.
Disagree heavily, but go ahead.
Your devil advocates.
Well, I want to see what other people's answers are before I give mine.
That's
So-
oh crap! That is not an easy answer.
I'm abstaining.
What about you, Anvil? You look like you got one.
If we're calling Zelda an RPG, then Zelda. If not, Fable.
Yep.
Greatest
I
of all time,
had
Fable?
Zelda or Fable?
somehow knew Anvil's answer was going to be Zelda in some form.
I mean, I literally have it tattooed to my arm, so...
Yeah.
There. Anybody else?
I had known a man for about 7 years. His name was Forrest Dugan. And in those 7 years that I knew him, he had recently passed away. He did not speak about anything but The Witcher 3. I have never played any of the Witcher games, but The Witcher 3, of all of the stories that he has told me over the course of 7 years that I have known him, so much that he talks about that game. He based so much of his own life on that game. I gotta go with The Witcher 3. I've never played it. I've gotta go with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Yeah. That's a very good
Star
point.
Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
I'm surprised that did not get touched until the end. Was Knights of the Republic.
That's a good one.
I know.
You got one.
That
You got one.
That was actually going to be my answer as well. Was Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, it revitalized. It revitalized the franchise at the time. It launched a storyline that is still screened for to this day, and quite honestly, it was just a really great RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dusty, you got one?
No, because if I say For the Alliance, you guys all kill me. So.
Fuck off.
I got a decal on the back of my car.
Since everybody else has given theirs of what they think the greatest RPG ever is,
UA.
I'm gonna give my answer, and I gotta say, Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate was good. I will give
It was
him.
good.
I enjoyed Baldur's Gate. That was the answer. I actually played that one.
I gotta say, definitely Baldur's Gate for greatest RPG ever.
UA, what do you got?
Damn, that is such not an easy answer. I'm not going to say JRPG because I do want to save that for that episode. But for me, I'm torn because I have to agree with Salem. I've never played it before, but I hear nothing but phenomenal things about Witcher 3. I know so many people that love that game and they swear by it.
2 votes, I win, asshole.
Oh, but
No, you don't. It's 2-2.
for me, My favorite, what I think was one of the best RPGs, if for no other reason than the fact that it had a end game boss that I truly despised from the get-go. Borderlands 2.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Damn, I did.
Are we gonna do this? Are we gonna fight?
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
up. Don't do it.
Borderlands is an RPG. It's just it's an RPG with guns.
Like Fallout.
True.
But I'm actually shocked with the way this episode went. Asking that question, I really expected to hear at least somebody say Skyrim.
No, fuck that.
No.
Well, here's why I don't say Skyrim. Skyrim was great.
Pro
yes.
never really interested me.
And I dove a lot of hours into it. Best RPG, it is not. There are better RPGs.
I agree.
True.
Yeah, I would definitely say that Skyrim is like your entry level RPG. It's the RPG you have your friend who hasn't played a lot of RPGs play to get into the genre, and then you start showing them all the weird shit.
I don't know. With the amount of mods I put on Skyrim, I think I'd rather be walked in on masturbating than walked in on
that's the
playing
thing. Does
Skyrim.
anyone actually truly play Skyrim? Because with all the mods that are out there, does anyone actually play the real game?
Yes. Yes. And for me, this is terrible, and I realize that I'm going to get chastised for
it's
in
you
a minute.
talking, so go ahead.
Fuck off, bitch. I don't play PC, mainly because I don't have a PC that's powerful enough to go with what I want to play with.
I mean, that uses money, by the way.
But yes. But for me, I played Skyrim on the PlayStation 3. No mods. The mods did not happen until the remastered version came out for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And even then, I never turned on any of the mods until after I had done at least 1 or 2 playthroughs on the PlayStation 4, because I was enjoying it for the visual and the other effects that came included with it. After I was done with that, then I turned on some mods, but mods don't matter to me.
So when we get Skyrim for the fridge, I'll try it normal.
Well, I was the same with Fallout 4. Not until I've 100%ed the game, and I mean 100%ed the game, did I ever even think about toying with them.
The only mod I ever played on Fallout 4 was the radio mod to get more stations. That's it.
Nice.
Actually, no. Here's a really good question. I know we had our closing question, but I guess I gotta ask: what was the hardest RPG game you've played where you have 100% of the RPG game? What was the hardest one for you to 100%?
Oh, I can do this easy. I'll get mine out of the way right now. I have no answer because I have never 100%ed a Western RPG. I have 100%ed one RPG. It was a JRPG, and I am going to save that for the next episode.
Okay.
Can I date myself really old?
Go ahead.
Labyrinth.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Good grief, girl. We're going to have to blow the dust off of that one. So, I was just like, oh.
You said hardest one. That was ridiculous, that game was.
Okay, you want to date yourself? I'll date myself.
Yep.
Far.
Which one?
Hills Far. A Forgotten Realm.
Oof.
Chris,
Hardest.
how old are you?
Hardest RPG I have 100%ed. Yeah, if it was hardest RPG that I've 1%ed, that'd definitely be Dark Souls. But hardest RPG that I 100%ed would probably have to be
Pokemon.
Breath of the Wild.
Wow. Okay.
That one was hard to 100%.
I still haven't 100%.
Because there was just so much stuff. Like, I'm on my second playthrough. But, like, oh my god, Breath of the Wild just had so much stuff to collect. I almost gave up a couple of times. And then they dropped the DLC on me.
Yeah.
That was a nightmare. I still haven't done the quest of the Master Sword.
I've got two answers for this question because I can't decide which was the hardest to do. I know which one took the longest, but which one was the hardest is still up in the air. I don't know if I really want to classify it as an RPG. I mean, it kind of technically counts, but Destiny 1 and all of the DLCs for Destiny 1 I have 100%ed. And then relatively new is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
I've never seen you so angry.
I have definitely raged.
Yes.
Some hardcore rage at that game, but I have also 100%ed it. So it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
So
Hey,
does Red
it's on
Dead
the back of our
Redemption
car as
count?
a sticker now.
For me, it was
What was that,
definitely the first Souls.
That's okay. If you guys want to get on an episode about frustrating game types or game genres, I am planning on doing a bullet hell episode.
Oh,
I was gonna say,
Deal.
oh no.
Most of my stuff's gonna be from
Amble,
because the
no.
old
Yeah.
games are
what
harder
was your answer?
Dark Souls, the first Dark Souls.
You
presented
actually
Dark
beat that
Souls?
game.
You are a god.
Yes, I 100% of that thing, and it took a ridiculous amount of time. And it's when you just get into that, I wouldn't exactly call it depression, but that point or that period in your life where you're just like, man, I really just want to play a game that I hate more than everything else.
I just want to play a game that I hate more than everything else, and the game responds in kind.
I don't know why this made me
Who
start thinking.
hurt you?
I don't know why his answer made me start thinking about it, but I'm actually shocked nobody has mentioned once Legacy of Kain.
That's
Never
valid.
played.
Looking at all the games I do play on my computer.
Nope.
I can't tell these people these things.
We should actually see her line up on the fucking computer.
Don't start pointing out the games I play, especially not the yellow one.
Look at Minecraft.
Let me open up my Steam library and see all the RPGs we haven't mentioned yet.
Trove doesn't count as an RPG, right? I love Trove.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's about it
that
for this
wraps
one,
it up.
right?
Yep. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
over an
Wait a
hour.
minute. Question,
Invite us
question,
again
everybody.
sometime, we have
RPG
Hold on, hold
count
What was that, Anthony?
five, RPG or not?
Is what RPG or not?
Minecraft.
Fuck no.
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 No, Sandbox.
Yeah, that's definitely a sandbox.
No, I just wanted to make sure because I wasn't sure if that one counted as an RPG or what because of the fact of all the building elements. So
There's no stats elements to it.
I haven't played Minecraft Story Mode, but I still think it would qualify as Sandbox. That's
okay,
it.
Story mode is
all right.
Story mode is like a
Yeah.
it's like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah, it's a
visual novel.
Yeah, it's what
So,
it is.
it's a Telltale game.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Fair enough.
That note, looks like we are at the very limit of how long we can let these episodes run. I had a feeling we were going to go over time on this one.
That's right. This episode is a fat guy in Speedos. We are stretching the limit.
All right, on that note, Wild High, where can they find you?
You can find me Anthony falling asleep on camera. You can find me on Realm of the Mist Entertainment, usually co-hosting either Breaking the Fourth Wall or Realm of the Mist podcast, right here with Press A Gaming, or you can find me over at the other channel, Sounds Dicey, playing Ferrante Thonalis, the neurotic, emotional drow who really can't stand bards. But
I like how we turned your character into a neurotic drow.
you guys have really turned me into a drug addict and an alcoholic. My character was so straight edge until he ran into the Stumble Crew. It's all your fault. But yeah, you can find me over at Sounds Dicey doing that or hosting Four Corners of Hell. And of course, you can find me wherever quality podcasts can be heard.
All right, Mr. AKA, where can they find you?
Okay, first of all, Chris, I was asleep and I was visualizing you making a cameo in the Bible. Next thing,
I'm done. I'm out.
I give you a hint. I give you a hint, Anthony. It wasn't frankincense in that gift.
It's my body.
You gotta stop each other. People still gonna be walking in on this shit. They're gonna go, this happens every time I come on this show.
I kept wondering why my crotch would start smoking every time I walk into a church.
So, you can find me on Instagram at Delivery Bros Podcast, or you can find me on Twitter at Delivery Bros Pod, or under Anthony Anthem KC on Twitter, or Anthony Anthem on Instagram. And it's the same for the Facebook, and it's the same for the Anthem Facebook. Also, check out my show Delivery Bros, which you can find on all the platforms where podcasting is available. So with that, I'm Anthony Anthem, a.k.a. Black Fabio, a.k.a. The Midnight, a.k.a. Mr. A.k.a., and I'll pass it along.
All right, Anvil, where can they find you?
Usually playing a video game or eating some pie. You can also find me at just about any DAG event in Pennsylvania.
Ooh,
All
what kind of pie?
Wait, where can they find you?
Kind of pie.
Well,
Pie flavor.
I'm going to let Anvil enjoy his pie for a hot second there.
It's pie flavored pie. There we go.
There you go. You can find me at Twitter at Blackwings Roman numeral 13. I'm also on Twitch, same type handle. You can also find me at YouTube under Joshua Wilson and Facebook as Josh Wilson. And, you know, as always, it's been nothing but a pleasure, folks.
Dusty and Salem, where can they find you guys?
Well, you can find us at least 150 feet away from any school zone. That's for sure. Legally, anyway.
His house has got a little blue dot on Google Maps.
You can find us up and down the East Coast. We are the Knights of Cyprium. You can see us at Renaissance fairs up and down the East Coast. We will be beating the shit out of each other in live steel armor as the Knights of Cyprium. Facebook and whatnot, we are Respawn, we are Marsha Thompson.
Yep.
We don't do Twitter, we don't do Instagram, so you can find us mainly on Facebook. We don't really follow much more on Facebook aside from maybe Grumpy Door Forge. You can find us as Grumpy Door Forge on Facebook.
I think I shut that one down, actually. But Marsha K. Art, you can find her.
Marsha K. Art, you can find her as well. And if you guys do Discord, don't.
And Zephyr, where can we find you?
As always, you can find me as your host for Press A Gaming Podcast right here every other on Realm of the Mist. And you can also find me over on Sounds Dicey playing Billy Knoll, the resident crazy bard.
Which is the reason why Ferran drinks and does drugs.
Exactly. Exactly as planned. All right, on that note, this has been another episode of Press A Gaming, and remember to press A for more great gaming content. See you next time.
Later.
Bye.